Right, breaking news coming in regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. Top world leaders will be visiting Kyiv today. French President Emmanuel Macron, Italian Prime Minister, will be visiting war-torn Kyiv. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is also likely to visit Kyiv today. So top European leaders visiting Kyiv today amid the Russia-Ukraine war that's ongoing. Olaf Scholz, the German Chancellor, French President Emmanuel Macron, as well as Italian Prime Minister Draghi will be visiting Kyiv today. And staying with the Russia-Ukraine war, the fight has intensified in the eastern part of Ukraine in the city of Sievierodonetsk. UN has warned that thousands of civilians are trapped in Sievierodonetsk with essential supplies running out. Many of them are sheltering in bunkers beneath the city's Azot chemical plant. For weeks, capturing Sievierodonetsk has been the top military goal for Russia, which now controls most of the city. Meanwhile, US has announced an additional $1 billion in military aid to Ukraine.
Спеціальний саміт з лідерами Західних Балкан. В Київ приїжджали прем'єр-міністри Чорногорії і Албанії, а по відеозв'язку був прем'єр Північної Македонії. Україна отримала вагоме рішення про підтримку і цими державами статусу кандидата у члени Євросоюзу. Для нас 3 держави ухвалили таку спільну заяву. Фактично, на сьогодні ми вже настільки наблизились до отримання цього статусу, як не можна було і мріяти ще навіть декілька років тому. Україна зробила усе, що тільки можна було, щоб отримати кандидатство.
Right, Srinjoy now joining us for more on this. Srinjoy, there is visit of the top European leaders on one side. There's $1 billion additional military aid from the US on the other. So the solution to this war, does it increasingly seem to be only military, or is there some bit of diplomacy also that could provide a solution to this war?
Clearly, it's just the war. And if all these things are happening, first of all, the visits by the Italian Prime Minister, the French President, the German Chancellor, is another sign of solidarity that Europe has with the Ukraine. So beyond that, one doesn't see very much more, because attempts by Scholz and Macron to find a solution has not helped. Secondly, when you're looking at the American $1 billion aid, well, it's particularly important for the Ukrainians. It's also important that it comes on time, because you've spoken about Sievierodonetsk. At this point, the Russians have the advantage, because the Russians have the artillery, the Russians have the strength, the Russians have the troops in that area, and even Ukrainian soldiers have said, and this has been quoted in the Western media, each time they fire one shell, the Russians fire back 15 or 30. So if that is so, the Russians are too strong in the area. And if the American aid has to come, it has to come very quickly. And we will have to see whether it makes a difference or not. But the important point to note is these are areas, these are Russian-speaking areas. So even a section of the local people appear to be favoring the Russian side. This is an area, the Lugansk and Donetsk are really Russian-speaking. Up to 1991, it made no difference, because simply because it was all one country. But after 1991, there are differences, which is what it has led to after all these years. But the important point is that fighting is going on, and the civilian population is stuck in the middle. And there is a huge crisis in the making in that area.
All right, Srinjoy, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us with those details. Some break.